Yeah, the Christian music guys. Make some noise for the Christian music guys.
We've got a special guest joining us. You know him from American Idol, where he captured hearts. Clark Beckham is with us. Since his Idol run, Clark's continued to build a loyal fan base, blending gospel roots, soul, and pop into music. Now he's stepped fully into the Christian music world, signing with NCS Records earlier and releasing his label debut worship single with the collective titled Mystery. We're excited to talk about his journey, his faith, and what God's doing in his life. Clark, thank you so much for chatting with us, man.
Yeah, I'm honored. I'm glad to be here on the pod and talking to you guys.
Yeah. Okay, so we like to go to artists' social medias and just look through and talk about some fun stuff in the beginning. And I saw a video of you. It was a few months back, probably late fall, early fall or whatever, around that time. But you did a Toy Story. If Toy Story was a Tyler Perry movie, and I really thought about, man, there's so many Disney songs that could be Christian songs. And
Oh yeah,
and I don't know
yeah.
if you've thought about this, but one in particular that I love could be A Whole New World. I mean,
Oh, totally. I mean, it's like it's the idea that every narrative is the same. Like
yeah,
the human heart aches so much for the reconciliation of the gospel that whether you're aware of it or not, if you're trying to tell the greatest story ever told, it's going to get there every time. And it's wild how many Disney and Pixar, the greatest storytellers, maybe of our time. Um, it's so easy to just switch out a lyric or switch out a perspective, and then all of a sudden, it's a gospel song.
Yeah.
Now, isn't it with every Disney movie though? Usually, there's someone that dies, and especially in the Pixar movies, it's like every single Pixar movie, there's some tragedy. It's like, man, that's really
Yeah,
sad.
they gotta punch you in the gut every
Yeah.
time. But if you think of any amazing movie or book or like even video games, man, like the really brilliant storytelling, there's always just awful tragedy somewhere in there, and I guess it's just an integral part of the narrative skill. But yeah, I don't know, trust the process, I guess.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Around, you were on season 14, right, of American Idol.
Yep, that's right.
Who were the judges then? Was it Paula?
No, it was Harry Connick Jr., Jennifer
Okay.
Lopez, and Keith Urban.
Okay, so 3 totally different judges then than
Yeah,
the
but
originals.
they were awesome. They were
Yeah.
all 3 of them were superstar judges.
Yeah, I like Harry Connick. Well, how do you think, from then, how do you think that experience shaped you as an artist, but not just an artist, but as a believer in your faith?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. The believer in the faith part, I kind of grew up being told, mostly indirectly, that if you were a Christian, if you loved God, and you were musical, that meant that you were called and made and designed to be a worship pastor in the church. And if you did anything other than that, you were running from the call that God has on your life.
Mhm.
So when I gave my life to Christ, when I gave everything to him, gave him the power of deciding, as far as I'm concerned and my life is concerned, I was 18, and I thought that part of that process was to lay my dreams of being an artist down and becoming a worship pastor. And so I did that. I said, anyway, in that moment, I said, okay, God, I took about I took some time to crucify that dream, and it took some time in the altar and some tears. And then I finally got there. I said, okay, God, I won't pursue being a singer-songwriter. I will be a worship pastor. And so clearly I heard the voice of God say, no. And I was like, what do you mean, no? I just said I'll be a worship pastor. Did you not hear me? Like, what are you talking about? No. And I went to college instead. I was 18 years old. I went to college instead and found my roots in the Christian faith, finding out what it was really like to be filled with the Holy Spirit and to live like it and to minister to people. And then I felt led and called to audition for American Idol. And I did. And when I was on the show, I never, I at that point, I had never felt more on target to my calling and purpose in God. And maybe even to this day, I've never felt more in the will of God than when I was on the show. Pretty close. I wouldn't say that's actually true anymore, but for a long time, that was a um, peak moment for my calling. And I learned that everyone has different callings, and the army of God, the military of God, has to be so diverse to be effective. And of course it's going to be. God's calling people to be worship pastors, and we have to have them, or we're all in a lot of trouble. God's calling people to be on Christian radio and to sing those songs, and we need those people. We need Chris Tomlin and Danny Goki and those guys. God's also calling people to be in the pop secular world, which is where I've been my whole career. And when I was on Idol, I learned that God's calling is diverse, and it doesn't look like one thing, as long as the one thing that does remain is seeking first his kingdom and letting everything else come alongside of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like a lot of times, because even, I mean, we were kind of grew up the same way where it was like, especially if you're like in music, it's like you better be going for that worship pastor.
Yep.
there is nothing else.
Yep.
But like, I mean, even in Corinthians, like we're built like a body, and we all make this body. There's a pinky toe, there's a leg, a foot, a nose, like all those things
I love
have
how
a
you say pinky toe.
pinky toe, yeah. And all of those have a purpose. So, like, of course, I mean, there's you got to have the jelly rolls that are in the realm right now that are completely bringing other people into know Jesus, just from being out in the world.
Yep.
So what you're like, so I love just getting on TikTok or getting on Instagram and always seeing your reels or your TikToks of you just singing, doing these mashups of the different worship songs, or just a cover of a song, and I don't even understand the how, but the way, the runs, and all you just have a great voice. How does it go when you go to pick, like, do you just randomly think of a mashup and you're like, oh, I think that would slap, and then just start fooling around with it on the piano?
Sometimes, most of the time I start playing a song that we did at church that I enjoyed, and then I just keep playing and letting my musical influences that I have that have been ingrained, the characteristics of Ray Charles and um, even people that you guys don't know that I just grew up like in close proximity to, like a mentor of mine named Tom Sturbins,
Mm-hmm.
um, who taught me a lot of keys stuff. And so from him, from Marvin Gaye and Al Green and Otis Redding and my dad, who's an amazing singer and songwriter, those influences, there's so much passion from me that's attached to the musical elements and qualities of their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've identified those things, whether it's harmony or runs or vocal tone, with a gift of God. Every good and perfect thing comes from God. I think art in general is
Mm-hmm.
God's. Um, and so when I'm worshiping Him by myself, just me and the piano, with goodness of God or any other kind of household name church song, I let those pieces of him, of God, that I learned and fell in love with from those other singers, influences growing up, come out. And I'm such a nerd. I know how to do those things with
Mm-hmm.
my hands. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I hear something that I really love, like I got to figure out what it is, why it is, and how it is, and then I really make sure that that tool is firmly placed in my tool belt, so that when the passion for that sound comes when I'm singing an elevation song, it can come right out. And
Yeah.
so really it's just me worshiping by myself for him, like just me and him, and letting those tools like go to work and just feel really free, and just kind of see where things go.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love how you just the way you build, or like you can build chord structures differently, and like throw in things, and you're like, have you ever thought about this like goodness of God with this in it? And I'm like, okay, I've never thought about that, but that is that,
Yeah,
it
thanks.
just works.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think a lot of it is, as long as you are um really letting your emotions drive the car,
mhm,
you're in good shape. If you start going, I learned this trick, and I think if when I play this, people usually go, woo, so I'm going to play it right here. And then you don't even think like, does this feel good? You're just like, this is one of those things that people go woo at.
yeah,
And then you throw it in and kind of look over your shoulder to see if the bass player is like laughing. Like
yeah,
those types of things, nah, not
yeah,
interested. It's got to
yeah,
be connected to the emotion that you feel when you're sincerely communicating the song. And that's when
yeah,
the cool chords come out to aid that, not distract from it.
yeah. Good. So, Clark, what drew you to NCS Records? Like, how did you know that that was like the next step for you?
Yeah, they were the only. So basically, what happened is when all of these like worship covers, like what we've just been talking about, when all of those Instagram reels and TikTok started to blow up, I thought, oh, well, let me make an album of this. And so
Hmm.
I made piano, vocal, like just demos basically, and of everything, and made full length versions of a dozen songs or so. And then went to different record labels and basically was like, hey, I'm going to do this. Here's the data behind it on social media. I don't think there's anything like this, where people who want musical complexities and stimulation, but also want the lyrics of these beautiful worship songs and want to listen to Christian music, I don't think they really have a place for that. I think that's where this fits. Here's a bunch of demos. I think this will work really well. I'm going to release it by myself, unless you guys would like to take part. and
Mhm.
then maybe we can get a deal together. That was kind of my pitch.
Yeah.
And I went to 4 or 5 different places, and um, NCS was the only one that said yes to that, and they were immediately fully bought into my original stuff. And here's where it gets a little weird. I am not called to, as far as I know, unless God changes like my path, which I'm totally up for whatever he wants to do.
Hmm.
As of right now, I believe and in prayer understand that my calling is not to be for my music to be in the Christian genre, to be on Christian radio, to be like a Christian artist. And when I say Christian, I mean the genre of Christian music.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm called to be a Christian person. And where it got tough with a lot of people is like, hold on, so you want to do like soul and R&B singer songwriter stuff about like love and heartbreak and dreams and aspirations and things that aren't like Christian radio?
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, I
Yeah.
know that's a hard pill to swallow, but yeah, my original stuff is again genre speaking secular. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I'm going to, so you don't
Yeah.
have to be a part. But NCS immediately they're like, yes, we want to help with the um worship, like soul jazz fusion project. And I played them some of my originals, and they're like, yeah, we want to make a
Yeah.
full album of this too. We don't see a problem. We want to do both. And they were the only ones that were like, we don't see a, we don't think you should be put in a box. We think that you should just make music and what God's called you to do. And as long as it's sincere and it comes out and you're loving it, like go for it. And that's kind of what I always had as an independent artist. And that's the reason that they made the most sense. You know, they're
Yeah.
the ones that believed in me on both fronts.
Yeah. Yeah. Which brings us to the latest single, Mystery.
Yeah.
Um, such a great song, and I like I love the like the heart and the message behind it. But how was that writing that song and bringing that song forward?
Yeah. So Mystery kind of happened as an accident.
Hmm.
When I was talking to NCS and we were kind of like courting each other, um, John Chisholm, the head of NCS, was like, hey, do you have any Christian songs? We are the NCS Collective. We're doing this big video project, and we'd love for you to sing, but we're doing like originals and Christian stuff. And I was like, I don't really write Christian music. And he's like, you don't have anything? And it's funny, guys, I will sit and toil and strive to write a Christian song, a worship song, anything. I can't do it. I've tried since I was 18, and I really tried, and it just doesn't happen for me, and it doesn't make any sense, but I just really struggle.
Hmm.
And so I was like, you know what? I actually was in a writing camp for my home church, the Belonging Co. in Nashville. And I wrote this song that I think is really great with 2 incredible songwriters, which is how the song got written. I came
Hmm.
in with the idea and they just took off with it. And TBCO decided not to use it because it wasn't very congregational. It was a little more poppy.
Yeah.
And I was like, they said I could do whatever I wanted with it. I mean, that's literally the only song I have my name on that is a Christian song.
Yeah.
And I'll send you the demo if you guys think it's a fit. Let's do it. And he was like, we love this. I was like, I like it too. I think it's dope. And so that's what we just did. And then when I
Mm.
signed, they were like, well, this is about to come out. Might as well make it a single for you. And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And then it did so well. And then it's a live recording, and yet it's getting some play on some Christian radio stations. We're like, my goodness. So now I was like, well, let's actually do like one of the guys I wrote the song with, Ben Schofield, is a brilliant producer. I was like, well, let's get Ben to actually make like a studio produced single. And so now we're releasing a radio edit, basically a studio cut of the
Yeah.
song. I think February 20th, so just in a couple weeks. And Ben really gets to flex there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of came by accident, but for a long time I was paralyzed to release music because I was so obsessed with, well, what? Well, I'm a soul and R&B singer-songwriter. I have to do that. I have to have that stuff. Well, what are you going to do with this? Well, it doesn't really fit my brand. And I was just like, you know what? If a song comes out of me and I really love it and I feel it, I'm just going to put it out. I'm going to put out this Christian project. I'm going to put out 2 Christian projects. And then I'm going to put out an original, and I'm just original album of like soul and R&B. And I'm just going to put stuff out, and I'm not going to worry about being labeled any other way. I'm just going to make the music that is in me and that I love and I'm passionate about, and just not worry about, anything else.
Yeah.
Clark, this is a fan based podcast, and so we will have viewers and listeners write in questions to their favorite artist, and we had one of yours.
Sweet.
John from Kansas wants to know the story behind the song Bedrock.
Oh, man. What a great question, and especially for this podcast. So, and kind of connected to a lot of things we've talked about.
Yeah.
There's this brilliant songwriter. I was signed with Quincy Jones, his management company, and I was one of the artists on his roster for 3 years. And another artist that was on his roster is this brilliant songwriter named Eli Teplin. And myself, and another guy, Brian Brundage, another great songwriter and producer, became kind of like a trio that we really loved writing and producing together. And Eli came to me with this song. And it's funny because part of what I feel so called to is non-Christian environments. And in that room, I'm the only Christian in the room between me, Eli, and Brandon. And Eli comes to this song, and he's actually coming from a place of frustration, if I remember correctly, a place of frustration from political people, from political officials, and them saying like how much they care, and then their actions don't look like that, to him. And he was very frustrated about that. And the funny thing is, politically, Eli and I would disagree. Our voting ballots would look differently and would look different. And I was like, instead of making this song about how frustrated we are at this group of people, what if we make this song just about, if we disagree, you may be right, you may be wrong, let's just come together anyway, let's listen to each other, and let's take off all of the inflammatory pieces and elements of this. And so it kind of wrote this song of like, even if we disagree, let's have unity. And it was cool because politically, Eli and I are, I would assume, probably opposites. And so we were the ones to actually write the song, and I thought that was really, really perfect. So that was a great experience, but that's how Bedrock came to be.
Yeah.
Now, you have worked with one of our favorite guys, and we're actually having him on in a few weeks, but Tommy Prophet.
Yeah.
You got to be a part of Birth of a King, which is like, I had a favorite Christmas album, but now when that came out, I was like, oh, okay, this is number one now. So,
yeah.
How was it like working with him? And he just recently talked about coming out with an Easter project. Are you part of that?
No, not part of the Easter project, but I have heard some demos from it, and
Nice.
It is insane. I think my favorite thing I've ever heard him do is on this Easter project.
Okay.
it is. I won't spoil anything, but um, he just doesn't miss, and he gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
Working with him is awesome. The reason that the Birth of a King, the concerts that have been going on for 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
the only reason that happened in the first place is because when Tommy works with someone, he becomes their like one of their best friends. And
Mhm.
he's such a relationship guy that when he had this dream of this huge concert with all the artists that sang on the project, I don't know. I'll just be super candid. I don't know what anyone else got paid, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, all of us were like, whatever you want, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cost doesn't matter. We're there. I know that. And he foot the bill for the entire thing himself. And even with, because like the first show I think was 1,000 like cap room, 1,200 cap room is in Belmont.
Yeah.
And there's no way that he could, even if it sold out, which it did, he could recoup. And he's like, I'm just investing into it anyway. And it would have
Yeah.
been physically impossible for him to do that if he didn't have friendships with everyone he worked with, and if everyone would have been like, oh, sorry, here's my manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Right.
like,
Oh
talk to
yeah.
my agent. This is my fee. Like, let me
Yeah.
know. All of us were like bending over backwards to do anything for him. And I
Yeah.
felt that way. And then when I got there, I learned that that's the relationship he has with everybody. And it just speaks to the character and the good guy that he is.
Then he sells out Bridgestone.
And then it's Bridgestone being sold out in the month of January,
Yeah.
11 months before the show. And now next year it looks like Bridgestone twice, 2 nights of
Twice. Yeah.
Bridgestone.
Yeah.
And ticket
That's
sales are
crazy.
going crazy already. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. That's crazy. Well, Clark, with first time guests, we like to do a thing called favorite things. Our viewers and listeners like this. And so we will just give you a word and you tell us your favorite thing in that category. Sound good?
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Go ahead, Chris.
See, let's go favorite food.
Pizza, even though I don't eat it anymore, but pizza.
I don't cheat it anymore.
I just blow up, man. I get big quick, dude. Guys, yeah, I can't do it.
That's what happens
I
when
be-
you hit 30.
Yeah, man. I become an addict, dude, and I eat like 5 pizzas a day and I don't stop. So I just gotta stay away.
When we talked with Chris Tomlin one time, and he said his favorite food was pizza, but he said he don't eat it anymore, but because he said after every show for many, many years, he would immediately after the show, he'd get on the bus and eat a whole large pizza by himself.
What? That's the dream, dude.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
He said he had to stop though, and he said for several reasons. But I'm like, yeah, bro, like,
Oh
my
man,
gosh.
if only we could do that and not have
Yeah, really.
repercussions.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Signs by
Ooh,
M.
yeah.
Night Shyamalan is the first movie that hit me past something that's just entertaining on the screen. I think I was 13 or 14 and just old enough to like really get something. And dude, that
Yeah.
movie hit.
Yeah. I just rewatched it over the fall season. It's good every
So
time.
brilliant.
Did he do that one? I just saw one a few weeks ago on HBO Max called Old. Did he do that one?
Yes, that's M. Night Shyamalan too.
That was different, but
It's different.
all his movies.
All of his
all his
stuff is
movies.
different.
Yeah.
All right. You have a favorite show to binge?
Survivor. Like
Hey.
I discovered
Chris.
Survivor in 2020, and I
Okay.
watched season 28.
I was gonna say there's like 105 seasons or something.
Bro, no kidding.
Coming
And
up on 50.
I've been watching since, and I've never been addicted to a show ever like I was Survivor. And
Yeah.
now we're back on it, my wife and I. It's funny, I auditioned
Mhm.
didn't get it, and then was like too sad to watch the show. And so I stopped for a long time because I'm a big wuss. And
Yeah.
then now we're back watching again, and we're on season 31, and there's 50. They're on season 50 right now. So it's one of those things that you can just binge for
Ever.
Oh, wow.
ever. So
Yeah.
but I've never been so addicted to a show as that one.
Oh yeah.
You
So actually here recently my wife and I have gotten into it again. Well, me again, but her for the first time. And I think we started at the latest season and we're going backwards.
Whoa.
So
That's
we're
interesting.
going
Gotta be careful with spoilers because sometimes they mention the
I
previous winner.
yeah, I know. But yeah, we're excited to hopefully this season we might, when 50 comes out, watch it while it's live and releases every week. But it's so difficult anymore to like watch
Oh,
TV like that.
yeah, we're used to just
We're so used to, yeah, you
every
just want to
night
click
new
it,
episode.
next episode, yes, click it, yes, watch it next like so we're gonna try it. We're gonna attempt it.
Yep.
Do it old school.
ever watch Naked and Afraid?
No. I've like seen like scenes and stuff from it, but I've
Well, I'm
watched
glad
Alone. Alone
I'm
is
glad
good.
you've
Yeah, Alone
never
is good.
glad you never tried out for that show, Clark. So
No. Absolutely not. I wouldn't go for that. You know, there's one more show that I want to just throw out there that might have been more addicting to me, but it was so short. There's only 2 seasons. Death Note. It's an anime.
Yeah.
And I just dabble into anime. That was the first thing I ever watched of anime. Holy cow. Death Note.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones.
and then The Chosen, right, for the Christians out there.
Yes, of course, of
Yeah.
course. That's like, what's your favorite book? The Bible. Like, you know, that's
Yeah.
that's a
God's
given.
holy word.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite musical artist of all time?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, it's Stevie Wonder. I think he's the greatest
Okay.
of all time. If you think about songwriting and ability, musical ability, I don't think anybody comes close to Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
And I've been like, am I missing someone? And every time someone says somebody else, like to rival Stevie, I'm like, not even close. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to be him. He's the greatest.
Yeah.
And do you have a dream collab?
Shucks, I got a lot. I wrote a song, a duet with Tori Kelly in mind. Still haven't released it, so that's what I'll say. I'll say Tori Kelly.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Yeah, that's gonna be another thing that I love and don't eat anymore. It would be chocolate with like s'mores. So like graham crackers and
Marshmallow.
marshmallows, like mini marshmallows with chocolate is probably the one.
Mm. All right. And do you have a favorite podcast?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have Christian music girls, no. Christian music guys, no. Okay, besides present company
Yeah.
excluded, kind of like Chosen, the Bible, Christian
Yeah,
music guys.
Right.
I would say my favorite podcast would be entertaining wise, because I listen to a lot of like business and social media, like strategy stuff. But Smartless, have you guys listened to that one?
Oh yeah.
Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and I'm blanking on the third's name, but I thought I was a funny guy, and then I listened to them, and I'm like, I don't know what humor is. These guys are so off the cuff, naturally hysterical. That's my favorite to listen to for entertainment.
Yeah. And
What's
then have you ever listened to Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade?
No.
Okay, that one's another one that's like that and Smartless. Like I can bounce back and forth on both of those. And
Okay, good to know. Fly on the Wall.
it's they are hysterical. Like just bounce off each other all the time, and I'm just like, okay, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
keep
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. I'll check that out.
All right. Well, you passed favorite things with flying colors.
Great. Good to know.
Nothing was too crazy. Even ice cream flavor. That was that one can get divisive sometimes.
Sure, sure. Can't go wrong with s'mores.
Yeah. So Clark, what is next for you? I know you said you have a radio a radio edit of Mystery coming out in a couple weeks. But what's next for you, and how can our listeners and viewers keep up with you?
Yeah, so now that I'm signed to a label, I'll be releasing music at a rate that I've never been able to do ever. So I'm pretty much releasing something every month for the next like 2 years,
Hmm.
um, starting this month. So that radio release of Mystery will come out where you get to really hear how brilliant Ben Schofield is as a producer. And then after that is going to be some like singles of like a full piano vocal version of Goodness of God.
Mm.
And I've got an EP of 4 songs. Goodness of God. Let's see if I can remember them all. 3 of them start with a G. Goodness of God. Great Are You, Lord. Um, How Great Is Our God. And oh, I had it. Another one. Actually, it's not the song. Another one. It's another song that I can't think of right now. Um, and then after that, we're gonna do it again, but we're gonna do a full band studio project of 5 more like household church songs, household name church songs, and really just sink into that world. And then the original albums after that with its own singles. So the best way to follow me and stay in touch is probably Instagram, Clark Beckham. My website is clarkbeckham.com. And if you're really wanting, like, I gotta know everything that's happening, you can get on my email list
Your
on my
social is.
website. Yeah, my social security, no. But yeah, clarkbeckham.com and on Instagram, Clark Beckham. Facebook, it's all Clark Beckham.
So it's early February. Any Christmas music this year, Clark?
Yeah, I've got an idea that I tried to make work last Christmas, but couldn't get the timing right. Um, I've definitely got at least a single that'll come out for this coming Christmas. Probably a collaboration with this brilliant artist, um, Jay Newsome. I went to college with him, and he's the best like saxophone player I've ever heard in my life,
Mhm.
and his wife is one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. And so we're thinking of doing kind of like a trio thing of a Christmas song. So that's my first pick. We'll see if that gets there or we write something original or what.
Yeah. So I know just for my music nerds out there, who would probably be interested in getting some of your versions of different songs, like to do, like you said, "Goodness of God" and "How Great" or "Great Are You, Lord," and um, to do those because I know your rendition's probably going to be, that pop feel, but that just great. Are you going to release like tracks, like in multi tracks or anything like that? Have you thought about that, or
I think I don't know, man, because maybe with the full band, like might as well, like we'll have the stems,
yeah?
but it it's not for the congregation. At least that's not my vision.
Yeah.
Certainly not. I think it's a very specific um congregational music is very, very, very important.
Hmm.
And there's a specific way to do that that is not distracting and leads a large group of people in singing truth and coming back to a right place and right posture with God. That's so important. And what I'm doing is more like trying to show the brilliant gifts of God off, like the
Hmm.
harmonic gifts that he's given us. Like a major 7 chord sounds amazing, and he
Yeah.
came up with that. And so does this crazy drum fill with these like
Yeah.
riffs over top of them. And so I can't imagine it being like for church. But I mean, we'll have the stems, might as well, just have them out there, have
Never
them
know.
released. I am getting charts written for every single Instagram cover I've ever done.
Okay, yeah.
And those will be available at some point for anybody who wants to use them.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, Clark, to wrap up, we'd like to see if you'd be willing to share something that God has been doing in your life recently that would help build our viewers and listeners' faith.
I've this has been really helpful for me, and it's definitely not like a cozy answer, but I've been reading Proverbs and finding every time that I'm the fool. Because most of Proverbs is a wise man does this,
Yeah.
a fool does this. And I'm just going through, and every time I find a verse that's like, ugh, crap, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm the fool. I'm just like, cool, gotta fix that. Gotta fix it. Not like, well, I'm a fool, but I'm pretty wise in most of the ways, or I'm better than so-and-so, or, just a work in progress I am, and glory to glory, I guess. Like, no, let's fix it today.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Oh, I thought that was a good thing to do. No, it's not, because it's right here. It says not to do that. So I'm not going to do that. So I've been really vigilant in just trying to form myself into the picture of a wise man according to Proverbs. That's been my main thing. And God's really, I've really started to greatly benefit from just lady wisdom. It's personified as a woman in Proverbs, and it says that she's calling out to all of us, and we all hear her voice, and we just ignore her. And it's health for your bones if you have wisdom. And so I've really been applying that, and that's been really incredible.
Yeah.
Well, Clark, thank you so much for chatting with us. Your single Mystery is out now, radio edit dropping the end of this month, and you got all kinds of music coming out. So excited to hear about that. Thanks for chatting with us, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
They're the Christian music guys. Yeah, the Christian music guys.